Hello and welcome back to a brand new LFM ACC video. Now today we have a 45-minute sprint pit stop race coming from Misano. Now Misano is a track that I love and adore, 2 and 4 wheels, but unfortunately I'm not actually amazing on the 4 wheels. I was expecting maybe this lobby was just maybe I was towards the lower skill gap on this kind of side of this lobby, but I felt quite average in this lobby. I was kind of disappointed because I feel like Misano is a track that I really feel like I get on well with, and I feel fast at this track, but the lap time is just not as amazing as I'd like. Now again, I will admit I'm in the Lamborghini again, the Huracan, and I don't really have any setup on. I can just jump in, so maybe again if I start maybe dialing the car in a bit more, half a second to a second will kind of come. Now I was only like 2 seconds off the fastest lap in qualifying, so again I'm not a million miles off in this lobby, but these LFM races are pretty intense. Now we are just watching my last lap in qualifying, which does turn out to be my fastest lap. Watching back now, a little bit messy, I'm not going to lie. Again, didn't even threaten an apex there. That definitely cost me a tenth, and when you're coming down here to Corvone, which is pretty much flat all the way to the final right, you do lose a bit of time if you don't get that penultimate corner. I believe Tramonto, you don't get that spot on, and it's actually easier on a bike. It's harder in the car because the car really understeers. But we're coming in now to the final few corners of this beautiful track in southern Italy, and I must say I was enjoying driving this car, but I just felt slightly on edge to try and go with the speed, and it's a bit of an interesting race. We don't end up qualifying too well. You see here I'm only about 0.3 under and about 2.2 off, so we're going to probably just dip under the 2 second margin to pole position. We end up kind of about 1.8 off a pole, 0.7 in the end, but only P18 on the grid after 8 laps. So qualifying really isn't my strongest suit in any form of motorsport. I'm much more of a Sunday man, consistently churning out laps, and you'll see that again here in today's race. So final corner, through Misano corner as it's formerly known. It's going to be a long race, 45 minutes. I definitely don't have the outright speed to win these ones, so we're going to just try and get away clean early here and see how it goes. Now on the left side into turn 1, very gingerly, almost tagged the back of the 911 in front of me, the GT3 car. Now again, through here I'm actually just driving by looking at my radar. I'm not even looking where I'm going, I'm just watching the radar above my head, and yeah, it's a really good way to get through the opening sector. Again, we have a look down into Rio, but again, not really much you can do here. One of these are skittling someone, so thought better of it. So again, coming through this slow section here, it's just a kind of a car park at the moment early in the race. But we're up to P16, so we look like we made 1 or 2 spots off the opening sector, which is good. It's always good to go forward, because again, you can get into these races where you can just get pulled along by other cars. The Ferrari on the outside goes a touch wide. I'm having a look, but again, tyres aren't optimal, brakes aren't really there yet. You're just opening lap. You don't really need to do anything silly. You just want to get a clean opening lap. Just cars sit everywhere. People end up spinning and stuff like that, so you just really want to get a clean opening lap. The M4 in front of me goes very wide through Tramonto. We are after going around the outside of the Porsche, but you can see he's kind of lagging back and forth. This lobby wasn't perfect for the net code and the lag. Probably one of the worst ones I've had in a while. There's somebody in qualifying coming through here, and they were just sideways the whole way, and it just really threw me off one of my better laps. Again, the M4 has gone wide, so we're going to have a look down into this tight right hander, into this lovely little Italy. It's called Caro, very tight right, and then up into which would be P15. So again, as opening laps go, pretty tasty, I must say. I'm pretty happy with that. A couple of positions made up from other people's mistakes, and thankfully no major collisions or anything. So as we jump here now in a second to the next clip, which is still in the position really just to try and keep it steady, trying to knock a few laps off, take the first 10 minutes of the race out of it without anything happening, get a small snap of oversteer, and that has left the M4 to get an amazing run. I felt this guy kind of comes alongside me, just gives me a tap for no reason. Now again, at the time I was like, well, he's definitely being run out of the road here, because he went around the outside of me and basically just ran inside me. So I forced myself on the race, and then I gave him no space. Thinking about maybe it was a bit of netcode. Then the Porsche that I passed earlier, or a different Porsche, someone who made a mistake at the start, kind of went around the outside, and I actually didn't see him because I was a bit focused on the M4, so end up slightly having a small bit of contact side to side to him, which made me just kind of jerk to the inside, which compromised my run through Tramonto, and that lay ahead. Had a good run, and I kind of just didn't really defend it too hard into Corvone. I just kind of stuck to the outside, hoping that he might make a mistake down through the fast race. But you can see it's actually me who's making a mistake. I'm a touch wide there, didn't hit that apex cleanly, but we do hold on to P16. So again, P18 is where I qualified. If I'm ahead of that, I'm doing better than I should be, and I'm feeling, after watching the results back and seeing the race back, the fast guys who won this race actually qualified behind me. So someone gone off there, I believe that was an M4. In fairness to him, I'll give him credit, didn't just rejoin dirtily or kind of stupidly. He did actually kind of wait till there was an opportunity. So again, props to him. Not everyone in sim racing kind of abides by the laws of the rules. So again, M4 goes inside, over and under. He's going to go deep. We're going to cut back and get the run. So again contact. Now at this time I feel like that was netcode, because it didn't feel like we were that close, but he ended up inside me. So that's usually a bit of kind of lag, netcode or whatever. So again, small contact with the M4. So it's been a bit of a bumpy race between me and him so far, but thankfully I've held on to P16. Ferrari in front of me. I'm not the fastest of cars, you'll see throughout the race, but again, we just can't really get close to them because we're trying to defend and fight off the M4 that is behind me. And we're about 5 minutes in. You can see all this has happened in the first 5 minutes, so like 2.5 laps in. And then the M4 again, I don't know if he hit me there. I felt a slight vibration through the wheel at the time. So I remember I kind of opened the steering to catch a slide that I was kind of preempting that might come from the contact. But again, he went straight off, and that is another Lamborghini spinning out of the penultimate corner, just getting into P15, P14 as we come into Misano corner. Now we jump forward here in a second, and we are getting close to the back of this Ferrari, and 2 cars ahead of me. There's an M4, and I believe that might be another McLaren. I think actually there's 2 white cars. The Ferrari is sticking his nose in at Corvona. It's kind of, I suppose he has the run, but it was just very weird. And again, these two collide. He goes off. Now this white M4 just rejoins and almost has collisions with the Ferrari. I'm looking here. This is beautiful. I'm going straight for the inside, and the Ferrari brakes really early. I was so close to hitting him, and then the M4 just thinks I'm not there. Watch it back a few times to see what you think of it. I think I don't really know what he was trying, because I've gone for the move. I've parked on the apex because the Ferrari in front parked on the apex, so I just know where I'm going to go. Like, I'm not going to disappear. And he goes for a cutback, just isn't on, and just drives into me. Now I got hit twice. He hit me and put him into a spin, but then he also auto-corrected me and put me into a spin the other way, so lost a fair bit of time, as well as I got a bit of suspension damage, so not ideal. Already slightly kind of stretching for some speed in this race, and now I have damage, so not really ideal. And we're back down to P15 now. This clip here, again, watching the mirrors a bit too much. Lamborghini behind me just put me under pressure. This guy, I actually am around him for most of this race. He is a bit quicker than me, but for unknown reasons, most of the race he is around me and around my speed. So we can see now, a couple of laps later, we're back with this Ferrari that we're battling. The M4 that collided with me was up ahead. We have a look here, we have the run on him, but I'm thinking, I kind of knew this guy because he caught me in a couple of laps and got right up to me. So I was like, if I go and pass him, I'm going to be defending him for so long. I don't really want to be defending when I want to be attacking. So I was thinking in my head, leave him push on the speed, leave him go and stretch and try and make a hold for me and him to get past this Ferrari, and then what we can do is we can try and run past him and get away further down the line. So I was trying to think the long game of no point me battling him when he is definitely the quicker of the two of us. So again, trying to stick close to him because I know he's a lot quicker. I'm quicker than the Ferrari, and the Lamborghini between us is quicker than both of us. So I'm just thinking, right, he's going to make a hold for me. I'm going to have to try and squeeze through it as well and just try and be on my feet. And I'm just here, just kind of getting 10-15 minutes into the race, just having a double check of tyres, fuels and all that. Just want to make sure that we do pitch, we don't change the tyres, save as much time as possible, and just kind of checking how much damage. So we have about 8 seconds of damage, so quite a bit of damage to the car from that collision. So you can see me here just playing around, and eventually do manage to turn off the tyres and into this corner here again. We just go a touch deep, we try and square it off, get the exit, and again we really are being held up now by the Lamborghini in front of us and the Ferrari. As the stint goes on, we do end up getting a lot more basically time lost, and I felt like we really, as the race went on, I actually became quicker and quicker, just got more comfortable with the track and stuff, and the track was coming up into a better condition. But again, we're kind of feeling here that like there's a move going to come, and eventually he does stick his nose in. The Ferrari gives him roughly the space, so thankfully he's gone through now, and I can probably get close to him and try to do something similar, because that Lamborghini in front of me was just getting off the corner so well. You probably didn't see it in them clips, but I was kind of with him everywhere through the high speed stuff, and then the slow speed exits, man, he was killing me. But you see into the very fast rights through Corvona, and then the second right again he slides out. So that Ferrari is probably stretching just to keep the Lamborghini behind us, but no, he's unleashed both of us, and I'm trying my best to go with the fellow Huracan in front of me, but I know his pace is quicker, so I'm going to just kind of try and do a few qualifying laps behind him just to see if I can kind of just stick with him and see if we can kind of get dragged along and maybe spawn with a slipstream and what have you. You know, we're already 12, maybe nearly 17 minutes into this race at this point, so a good chunk of the race is gone. We're in P14. You see the Lamborghini there having a slight kind of oversteer slide through 1 and 2, and I was kind of feeling the same. I feel like we were probably trying to get past him for so long. We were probably taking different racing lines and different points, and we skipped forward here about 5 minutes, and you can see I'm pretty much still in the same window with the car in front. Now it's a Porsche. I get my first warning here, I believe, or maybe my second. I actually get away with this one. But the Lamborghini in front is dragged me into another group. Now I believe it is a Porsche in front of me. And it's actually BMW and M4 in front of me. And then the Lamborghini has jumped on him. So the BMW in front, I feel like, might be the guy that collided with me earlier in the race. So I'm trying to get back close to him and try and put him under pressure, because that was a very stupid move from him. And obviously didn't get any penalty for it. And I was pretty pissed off at it, because it was just like there was no chance of him going through. It wasn't like he took a risk. He just drove into me and just was a bit clueless. Like, so you can see here now we're doing as quick, if not quicker, than every lap of our qualifying time. So our pace is, for me, as good as it was going to be, and we're really pushing here. You can see Lamborghini and the BMW battling up ahead, and I go slightly deep there, just cost me a small bit on the exit of Corsa, and that probably just was the corner you don't want to run wide at when the two in front are battling. You can see one of them has gone wide up ahead. I believe it was the M4 on the outside there, so he went very wide through the very tight, twisty right-hander. So we're really trying to get onto the back of these guys. We're up to P8 as some cars now are starting to pit, so some of the faster boys are jumping out of position and falling in behind with their pit stops. And at the moment I'm still doing the calculations in my head, trying to figure out how much fuel I need, how much I've used so far. And we're really getting into the swing of this now, halfway through the race, as we just get the notification there. And you can see here now, look, the Lamborghini in front of me, he has his indicator on. You'll see here in slow motion that he's coming into the pit. I've never seen anyone do that in sim racing, and I must say I tip my hat to him. I saw it at the time and I was like, oh, what a man. Made me kind of think maybe that's what everyone should be doing. It's one of those things you never think of it. It's probably, now that I say it, it's probably really obvious, and probably loads of people do it, but it's just the first time I've seen someone do it in this game, so props to him. We're up now to P4. This BMW to my left here, we were really catching him. We were so much quicker than him. I'm not too sure which one he was, but thankfully we go around the outside, but he bails into the pits anyway. And I'm thinking at this point now, right, let's push on one clean lap, and then we're going to come straight into the box. So with 19 minutes left, we've used up majority of the fuel tank, and we're into the pit. So we're currently P2 at the time, and I believe in the pits currently is the race leader. We'll see here in a second. I just take the lead of the race for about 10-20 seconds. There's the race leader. We just take on the pits and jump into the pit box, and we jump out now as we're coming out, back down to about P9, P10. A smack of oversteer coming out with the cold tires, and that is the Lamborghini front, who is with me all race really, and he's probably going to pull away from me at this point now because he has heat in his tires. I don't. You can see on the dash the tires just aren't in the window yet, so he's definitely going to pull early here. We've refueled just enough. Didn't do any repairs, suspension or body work, just gonna try to be in the pit lane for a minimal time as possible. And we're in P10, so I'm thinking, Jesus, P18 to P10, that's not a bad race considering being taken out and spun and having multiple different collisions with people. It was kind of overall a messy race in the end, but you can see now though, we are being caught by a McLaren who's way quicker than me. He was massively quicker than me. Now I was thinking to myself, right, we've 10 minutes left. I've seen it's not an easy track to overtake, as a BMW, I don't know how he got there, he must have spun coming out. That is the BMW I've been battling pretty much all race with, and into P9 we go, so we've gained position on someone else's misfortune. Now again, he was around my pace all race, so I'm thinking he's probably going to come back at me just a tiny bit wide through there and down into this very technical part of the track. And the BMW behind me is going to put me under a lot of pressure between here and the end of the race. Now I think in my head, brilliant, BMW is going between me and the McLaren. It'll probably leave me get away, but down into Corsa we make a tiny mistake, went touch wide. BMW gets a beautiful run through, and to be fair, even by the time I'm on the power, he's already ahead of me. So at this point I'm thinking, damn, I needed him to be behind me. I'm gonna have a look into the right hander. I kind of show my nose, but unfortunately nothing doing. I know the McLaren is all over the back of me and I'm trying to get the exit, but again the BMW in front of me is just a bit slipperier than me in the straight line. You can see again though, a small bit of kind of what looks to be a bit of Neko, just kind of bouncing back and forward. You can see he's kind of slowly just kind of bubbling back and forward to me, so I was a bit nervous going through here, thinking we've 6 minutes left, we're up to P10, don't throw this away. So I'm trying to get close to him, but again we just got too close to him, end up off the track, and then I know the McLaren's there, so I go wide through the far end of the track and just leave the McLaren half position after my own mistake. So at this point, half a lap, I've gone from 9th to 11th, and I was like, Jesus, I was on for a good top 10 now after throwing race. So I'm thinking, right, well, if they can do it to me, I know the McLaren is quicker, he's going to have to make it an attempt at BMW, so I'm going to have to be on my toes once again, just like I was with the Lamborghini and the Ferrari a while ago, to try and make myself an opportunity. And as soon as I got behind them, I started going quicker, and I was all over the back of the McLaren. I felt again straight away that I was good, so I was thinking maybe the McLaren again now straight away is getting held up by the BMW, and I was thinking down into Rio here he had a look, but the BMW just covered it off, and it's overall slowing us down a small bit. But again, battle for P9 here is hotting up with only 6 minutes left in this race, so I didn't know the McLaren at all. I hadn't raced him all race, so I didn't know if he was a clean, aggressive, how fast he was he good at overtaking, was he going to play something a bit silly. You can see again down into Corsa, the BMW M4 just going a touch defensive. I am absolutely risking everything into the braking zone to get that pretty tightly and get a nice bit of rotation here on exit. And you can just see on exit the Lamborghini, my Lamborghini in particular, just doesn't have it, and into Tramonto, the McLaren just makes a small judgment mistake, taps the rear. I give a massive slide of oversteer, and in fairness to the McLaren, he does wait for the BMW, so there's about 4 or 5 seconds there they've lost, and we jump to the final lap. And the guy who qualified directly in front of me, we overtook him around the outside in Tramonto, I believe, on the opening lap, is actually back in front of me, so he's had a bit more clean race than I have. But I must say my pace at this point of the race was a lot quicker than him. The last like lap and a half, 2 laps, I was catching him so much, but I kept making silly mistakes, getting slight oversteers, getting hot into corners. I actually think I could have caught him, and as we're coming into this final lap here now again, I'm going under my PB. I'm on for nearly a sub 36, which would have been amazing considering my qualifying lap was like a 36.4, so on the same set of tyres as well, and the tyre pressures weren't perfect throughout the race, so again, setup not being ideal, but we're catching quite a bit here in this last lap, and I'm just going to run out of time. Again, you can see me pushing so hard out of Corsa that I get a slight snap of oversteer, and I believe in here we might go a touch deep. We do. You can see a bit of a 4-wheel drift in. I'm just trying everything to get it back. You can see we're on for at one point there 35.8 was the delta, so really pushing hard, but really from this point on it's flat out through Cavone. A small lift between the double rights and down a few gears and down into Caro. That is kind of the lap done. There's not much you can do in the final corners, Misano and the no-name one, so again we're really trying, and again I send it really hard in here, and I again take a bit of time off but just lose a small bit of exit, and again maybe if another 4 or 5 minutes P7 might have been on the table, but in the end it is going to be P8 for me. There was someone late on who got a drive-through, promoted me from P9 to P8, so 10 positions in the end we gained. It was an amazing race really. It was one of those races where the pit stop really played a part in it, and we got our elbows up and there was some nice battling. Again, wasn't always clean, but fun nonetheless really, and it was just overall a nice race, and I was pretty happy that I went from P18 thinking, well, it's going to be a struggle to get to top 15, which is always kind of your goal, is trying to go up into the next sector, and the fact that we got P8 comfortably in the top 10 and we were holding our own at that speed, as well, it wasn't a lucky race, so yeah, pretty happy overall. Now I'm going to leave it there for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you thought of my race today. I really enjoyed it, and overall felt it was quite good. I was about 2 seconds off the leaders, kind of fast lap, so in the end it was probably right that I was where I was. I was slightly in terms of speed ahead of where I should be, but anyway, nonetheless we got to the line before the rest of them. So yeah, going to end it there. Hope you have enjoyed. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. So long and full.